All right, everybody, shalom and welcome. Yishai Fleisher here, and I wish I could say that I'm in the Holy Land. I wish I could say that I'm with my family right now, but I'm not. I'm actually in New York area. I was here to give some speeches, and I'm one of the many Israelis who are stuck. I'm one of the many Israelis who are stuck, and not just Israelis, but Jewish people, lovers of Israel, who want to be in the land of Israel. But I'm one of the people who had a ticket to fly to the land of Israel. I'm supposed to fly tonight, and yet that does not look like it's happening. I'm not going to be flying tonight. Instead, I'm with you here out of beautiful New York. I'm not in my regular studios. This is a makeshift studio, but it's great to be here with you, and we're going to keep on fighting. We're going to keep on feeling amazing and strong, and that is because Israel is finally striking hard at Iran. It's something that we've been waiting for a long time. You know what? Right from the get-go, I want to correct myself. We're not striking hard at Iran. We're striking hard at the Iranian regime, the evil Iranian regime. We're liberating Iran. Liberating Iran. That's what's happening right now. That is exactly what the IDF is doing, and what especially the IAF is doing. The Israeli Air Force, it is striking hard against our enemies, and we are proud. And that does not mean we're not scared. Does not mean that there's not danger. My family has a lot of danger they're facing. There's all kinds of problems. And people like me are stuck. We can't go home because the enemy is shooting big rockets and killing people. Indeed. Let's take a look here. You can see on the Times of Israel, Netanyahu says that Israel won't rule out killing Khomeini, that it would end the conflict. But in the meantime, please don't think that the other side is nothing. The other side has killed, just in the last attack, 8 killed, nearly 300 injured as Iranian ballistic missiles strike central Israel and Haifa. 4 killed in Petah Tikva, 3 in Haifa, 1 in Bnei Brak. You can see the damage on the buildings. These are massive rockets. These are massive payload rockets. They're rockets that weigh a ton each, and they are flying at supersonic speeds, hypersonic speeds. I don't know what the difference is. But in any case, look at all the workers there dealing with the injured. So it is very much a war in progress. And look, it says IDF says a third of Iran's missile launchers destroyed, urges parts of Tehran to evacuate. So actually the IDF is in, we see that the Israeli forces, the special forces, are actually operating within Iran, but they're also calling out to Tehran and saying, hey guys, evacuate, don't let yourself get hurt. There's actually video of a media, of Iran's central media outlet, and that media outlet was also warned that it could indeed face IDF and IAF fire, but they did not clear out. And here's what it looked like as the broadcasters continue broadcast.
صدای متجاوز به خاک وطن، صدای متجاوز به صدای حق و حقیقت است. آنچه که ملاحظه کردید، صدایی که شنیدید، فضای غبارآلوده استادیوم
You could yell Allahu Akbar, or you could get the heck out of there, because Allah is Akbar, and it is Israel's hellfire that's coming down hard to destroy the Iranian regime that is trying very hard to destroy us. We won't allow them. Let's see some of the accomplishments of the last few days in this short video. Okay, getting rid of bad guys, no doubt about it, and protecting the entire world from a nuclear Iran. That is what's been happening. And it's an intense, intense war right now. It's an intense war. My family's feeling it intensely. All of Israel's feeling it intensely. All of pro-Israel people are feeling it intensely. And the Iranian people are also feeling it intensely. There's a lot of great Israelis who are stuck here right now. I'm not the only one. Another person who's stuck is Brigadier General in Reserves, Amir Avivi. He's been on our show before. He's the founder and the chairman of the IDSF, the Bitchonistim, and this organization is the reserve officers who have a nationalist perspective, a strong Israel perspective, and he's in the country right now as well. Brigadier General Amir Avivi joins me. Shalom Aleichem. Nice to see you here.
Hi, Yishai. Great to speak with you.
Brigadier General Avivi, things are different. This is a different day. I want to say honestly, I was one of the people asked me, is Netanyahu going to pull the trigger? Is he going to really strike at Iran? I'm like, I'm not sure he will. I'm not sure that he will. I know that he's been talking about it for 25 years, but he's been talking about it for 25 years. I'm not sure he's going to do it. And I'm happy to eat my hat today. I'm happy to say that I was wrong. I'm happy to say, I admit it, I was wrong. He did have the guts, and the Israeli Air Force is doing an amazing job. Please give me a sense of your perspective on this conflict.
So to give a bit of background, after we defeated Hezbollah, and I remind you, Yishai, that before we attacked in the north, there were experts saying we need to postpone the war 5 years at least. If not, all neighborhoods will be leveled down. There will be no electricity. Tens of thousands of Israelis will be killed. And we said all along, we can win decisively and in a very short time. And indeed, after we defeated Hezbollah, I had the chance to meet with the Minister of Defense, the former one, Gallant, and we said that we understand that the moment Iran lost all its strategic depths, all these proxies they built basically were destroyed. Iran has only one choice: to make a run towards nuclear weapons in order to secure the regime. So it was obvious that this is what's going to happen. And a decision was taken by the government, by the cabinet, headed by Netanyahu, to order the Mossad and the army to get ready until the end of April to launch a full-scale attack on this nuclear program and the missile program, because what the Iranians started doing, they moved towards producing 9 nuclear bombs, and also they built an industry in order to be able to produce 300 ballistic missiles a month, which in a very short time would have created 2 existential threats. One is the bombs, and the other one is 10,000 or even 20,000 ballistic missiles, which would have overwhelmed Israel and our air defense and really be able to destroy Israel. So Israel had no choice but to launch this attack. In the last 6-7 months, Israel developed capabilities that are beyond imagination, really bending the laws of physics and chemistry, the ingenuity of our scientists, of the military industries, of the intelligence, the Mossad, the army. They really developed a state-of-the-art plan backed up by state-of-the-art technology and ingenuity. And we see how Israel was able in 2 days, not even 6, like the 6-day war, 2 days, to basically to create the terms for winning decisively in Iran. Israel is dominating the Iranian airspace, and Israel at this stage can do whatever it wants, when it wants, how it wants, everywhere in Iran. So basically, every day now that passes, Israel really is bringing the Iranian regime on its knees. We are determined to have a short campaign. Israel is not willing to have a reality of a long war, of a war of attrition. There will be no war of attrition, even if it means destroying completely the regime and the economy of Iran. So Israel is operating now in 2 different ways. One is really destroying all these nuclear sites and all the industries that are producing the ballistic missiles. and at the same time hunting all these ballistic missiles launchers. Every day that passes, we are destroying more and more launchers. We have destroyed more than a third of their launchers. So I guess in a week or two, they will be almost not able at all to shoot Israel, while Israel will have full freedom of operation everywhere in Iran to do whatever it wants to do. And this is where we are now.
Okay, I have a few questions that are just so burning right now. First thing is, how is Israel's? I'm stuck here in New York, and I see you're stuck as well. How is the home front? How is Israel's civilian population handling the situation? The center of the country has been targeted. We've seen giant missiles strike buildings, people killed. There's fear, there's tension, there's, as we say in Hebrew, lachatz. There's like internal tension. Tell me what you're sensing about the people of Israel in this conflict.
So before we launched the attack, we brought reserve units. They went into the areas where the Home Front Command was operating, and they took all the battalions of the Home Front Command to all the main cities of Israel to prepare for this scenario, a scenario of a massive shooting of ballistic missiles and drones on Israel. At the same time, we're cooperating very closely with the US and the coalition to minimize as much as possible the hits on Israel. We have a very good multi-layer, anti-air batteries combined with US capabilities, with the SADs. And yes, unfortunately, with all the shooting, occasionally there is a ballistic missile that manages to penetrate, and it does, a lot of damage. But as long as people are in the safe areas, this minimizes casualties. I must say that looking at years of preparations, when we try to imagine what will happen in a war with Iran, we were thinking about thousands of missiles shot at Israel. This is not the reality because of the air defense, because of the way the IDF is attacking, toppling all the leadership of the military leadership of Iran, destroying the bases, the communications. We're attacking them in multiple ways that are really impacting and degrading the capability to respond and retaliate. And every day that will pass, things will get better. And anyway, we're talking about a short campaign. We are going to have a decisive win against Iran in a short period of time. It's not going to take months and months. It's going to be a fairly short campaign because already now they're starting to beg for a ceasefire. They understand that it's game over. And the big question, really the one big question is, are we going to put as a goal bringing down the regime? I mean, it's obvious that we can destroy the nuclear sites. It's obvious that we can, destroy this ballistic missile program, and we can destroy many military capabilities that they have. We destroyed most of the air defense. But what about the regime? I mean, if we stop now, even if we have a few years that deter, this regime is all about destroying Israel. This is the biggest goal they have. And they will probably return back to their activities, maybe after Trump's presidency, who knows? So it's a unique opportunity to really do a change that will impact for generations, maybe even have a change of regime and a regime that will want peace with Israel.
That's right. That's right. The Iranian people are known to be friendly towards Israel. The Iranian regime is not. Let's take a video of what Tel Aviv looked like just the other night.
Oh my God. תפילות. אולי לא קרה.
I mean, that video was just out of science fiction. It's just out of science fiction.
Like Star Wars.
Star Wars above your head, this beautiful city getting rocketed, and those are real people down there. It's just an incredible moment. And I was speaking with a man who's not a military man, but a very smart man, And he said to me, maybe it's been very lucky or smart or blessed that we first had to fight a war with Hamas. Then kind of in the middle of that, we also fought a war with Hezbollah. And only now we're fighting with Iran, in the sense that if they had attacked us all at once, we would have been in a lot of trouble. Here we took care of one, took care of another, now taking care of the head of the snake, the head of the octopus. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first, you know, on the 7th of October, 4 hours into the 7th of October, was really this devastating day on a biblical level. I can tell you that 4 hours into this war, when I realized with the generals of IDSF that it's only Hamas attacking, and we managed to, you know, bring our troops to the Lebanese border, and Hezbollah could not attack us by surprise anymore. And we saw that things in Judea and Samaria are pretty much stabilized, and Israeli Arabs are not doing anything, and Iran is not intervening. We knew already then, 4 hours into the beginning of the war, we are going to win decisively. They lost their chance. They had one chance, they blew it. They managed to do a devastating attack in the region of Gaza, but looking at the overall strategic situation, for us it was obvious that it will take us a day, 2, 3, we'll kill all of them on our side, we'll push them back to Gaza, and from that moment onwards, Israel will launch its attack. We knew that it will take time because we were not organized enough, not enough munitions, not enough forces, not enough equipment. So we needed time really to organize, and this is why we had to start first with Gaza, and only 10 months later really launch an attack against Hezbollah. But this time enabled us to build the capabilities and the readiness to do what we see now in Iran. And what we see, and we've said that all along, Israel has capabilities beyond imagination. Really things that are amazing. And now we're seeing really what the people of Israel can do, the might of the Jewish people in the state of Israel.
And of course, the might of Hashem, God Almighty, who's protecting the Jewish people. Let's take a look at not Israelis celebrating, but Iranian people celebrating as they are hiding out in a driving tunnel. But this is how they're reacting. All right, what we're seeing in that video is, you know, not everybody's going to do it. Not everybody in Iran is for regime change. Not everybody in Iran is willing to show emotions out loud. They're still scared. But there's already people who are hearing about the destruction of the Iranian regime and its various arms, including its media arms, and they're celebrating. So the Iranian people, there's a lot of them. I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a lot of them that want to see regime change. Do you think that Israel is going to, here's a double question. Do you think that, an international question, do you think that Israel is going to push for regime change? Is it going to encourage regime change? Or is it going to go like in a Gorbachev, perestroika type fashion, where it's like, okay, you know, they'll learn their lesson and let them evolve out of that jihadism? And the other question is, what about the Americans? I'm hearing different things. On the one hand, the Americans are sending refueling airplanes, according to reports. On the other hand, Prime Minister Netanyahu making it clear that it's good for America that Israel takes care of this business, not involving the United States necessarily, not necessarily, you know, bringing in China and Russia and all these players, just keeping it that we're pushing back against something that's endangering us. So those are two international questions. What do you think?
So you know that 50% of Iran are not Persians at all. You have 25% that are Azari, that are more connected to the Azari people, to Azerbaijan. You have Kurds, you have Arabs, and even among the Persians, there are many who are not supportive of this regime. It's not Gaza. In Gaza, I would say almost the vast majority, if not all of the Gazans, are completely aligned with Hamas. They're all Hamas. Iran is not like that. Iran, the vast majority of the society, they hate this regime, but they're afraid. And when Israel shows how weak they're a paper tiger. 2 days, and they're all this on their knees. This, I hope, will empower the Iranian society to really revolt against them. And I think this is definitely a start of a change, a beginning of a change. And we can really make sure that it will be a change if we eliminate the leadership. If we really eliminate this leadership, they have devoted their lives to the destruction of Israel, and it's time they go. It's time we deal with this.
And with regard to the Americans, what do you think?
So I think that, we see in America two different kinds of approaches. One says, we don't have to intervene, we don't have to endanger American soldiers. Let Israel do what Israel needs to do. But, we're helping with defense, with the air defense, with refueling, with intelligence in many ways. And there are others that say, no, we need to fight with our allies. We need to be proactive and attack and be part of this campaign. And so far, the U.S. hasn't shown willingness to fight. And
what do we want? What does Israel want? You think? What do you think is the best for
Israel? Is fine. Israel is fine with the U.S. backing us up, giving us, the intelligence, helping us with the defense, giving us munitions. Israel can manage. You see, Israel is doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
I think this question is not really about even Iran or Israel. It's a global question, because I'm thinking to myself, what are the Chinese thinking? I mean, if they hear the U.S. saying clearly that if the U.S. is not attacked directly, the U.S. should not intervene, okay? So I'm thinking, okay, so if the Chinese really understand that, why not invade Taiwan? This is not attacking U.S. directly. So what will stop China from invading Taiwan?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's an interesting point.
What will stop Russia from continuing its aggression in Europe if the U.S. is saying, if we are not attacked directly, we won't intervene? So this kind of approach might destabilize the whole globe. This is the big danger. And I've said it even before the war, in the previous administration, and also now. You want to be a global power, you want to stabilize the world, you need to show that you are willing to use military force somewhere. And the best place to do it is against this paper tiger and really destroy this Iranian regime and all its capabilities.
Well, two things about that. Number one, you use this term paper tiger, and I understand what you're saying, certainly in terms of defense. I mean, but they were about to get a nuclear bomb, so let's not minimize.
They were very dangerous. They were very, very dangerous. But it was obvious, to me at least, that once we attack them, we'll be able to deal with them very, very fast. But if we would have waited 3-6 more years, it would have been a completely different reality. There would have been nuclear and with endless amount of ballistic missiles. So we really attacked at the last moment. We couldn't, wait anymore. They were on the verge, a week or two, of having, nuclear capabilities, and they wanted even to give these capabilities to the Houthis, which don't care about anything. They would have shot Israel with a nuclear weapon easily.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you about that is, your point is very interesting. You're saying that if America doesn't react, if it doesn't take part in global stabilization, the world becomes destabilized. Bad guys realize that America's not going to get into it if it doesn't touch them personally. That's like the extreme form of America first. Instead of America interest first, it's just whatever touches me. That's the only thing that I'm going to react to. I understand what you're saying. But on the other hand, isn't it good for Israel that it shows that it has independent capability, that it is the regional power, that it's willing to pull the trigger, it's willing to engage. It doesn't need Big Brother. It doesn't need that support. It's kind of like, for the America Firsters, it's a proof that America is a good ally. It's an ally that's not asking you to put boots in the ground. It's an ally that could take a real ally that can take care of itself and really be the power in our region without the assistance of the United States. So isn't there a positive side to it as well?
Yeah, no, of course there is a positive side, because the approach of this administration is, Israel, you are not kids anymore. You have grown up. You need to be independent. We'll give you some assistance, but really you need to be able to do things by yourself. Today, you see the leading think tanks that are working with the administration talking about ending U.S. aid to Israel, and not because they don't want to help Israel, because they want Israel to be independent. So they're saying, we'll give you the money, but not as aid.
Right.
Let's do mutual projects. Let's build your economy. Let's do other things. But you are not a third world country. You are a regional power. You have to behave like a regional power. You have to act. You have to be independent as a regional power. And I think this is the right approach. And Israel needs to really grow its military industries. We have to be able to defend ourselves by ourselves at the maximum capacity we can. It's always good to have strong allies and work together. But Israel definitely needs to be independent. And the Jewish people as a nation, we built back our state to be able to defend ourselves by ourselves, not to be dependent on anybody.
Speaking of dependence, I think that this war or this attack on Iran is also worth a lot of money. There's a lot of Russian defenses in Iran that have not worked very well, and that's going to hurt their sales. But Israel is showing that it has technology that can outsmart the surface-to-air missiles and other things, drone technology, other technologies. I mean, this when you make a war like this, it's also it's a show. There's an element of it. It's all real, but it shows off what you're capable of doing, what you want to achieve, what you can achieve, and other people are like, whoa. So my double question to you here again is, one, what are you hearing from the Arab world or from the European or anybody that's interested or allied with us, like a Hungary, a Poland, and India? What are you hearing from those kind of quarters? Are they impressed? Are they like, what can we buy some of that? How can we learn some of that technology? I don't remember the second part. Are you hearing what is the global reaction that you're hearing right now to Israel's attack?
So, looking historically, you remember that the U.S., when Israel was created, all the way from 49 to 67, the U.S. was not really a good friend of Israel. There was a military embargo on Israel for a very, very long time. The first time we started having serious good relations with the U.S. was after the 67 war, after the 6-day war, when we became a regional power, when we show that we're relevant and strong. So the world likes winners. Everybody wants to connect with winners, and when Europe today is really, really scared of Russia, and they are really looking for top technologies and doctrines and know-how, they're looking at Israel. And especially in a reality where the US is saying, maybe we leave NATO, we don't want to be part of it, we don't want to fight. So when the Europeans see what's happening now, that the fact that we're fighting by ourselves, okay, they want to be like Israel. And today, the Israeli military industry is signing huge contracts with North Europe, with East Europe, with Germany. So I hear sometimes, when I interview on TV, people saying, there is a tsunami against Israel. Look at Britain, look at France and Spain. But they're not talking about all the other countries. We're not saying anything. Who are really working closely with Israel, buying Israeli capabilities, and wanting to be very close to Israel. Everybody wants to be Israel. Everybody wants to be like us, and they need our partnership, they need our friendship, they need our know-how. And when we will win decisively, and we will win decisively this war, following that, not only there will be peace agreements with Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, and many other countries, and we'll build this Western Israeli-Sunni alliance, but also the place of Israel among the nations and the international relations we'll have will be amazing, because everybody wants to side with the winning side.
That's right. Well, that it all depends on the one most important thing, which is a strong Israel. A strong Israel. When Israel's strong, when it's not giving away its land, when it's not funding terrorists, when it's not looking the other way when enemies build up tunnels underneath our noses, like when we're not doing the dumb stuff that we did on October 6th, shrinking ourselves, talking about peace all day long instead of destroying our enemies, allowing them to build up, allowing intelligence to kind of not really be looking the other way and not being serious about understanding the threats. When we do those things, we're weak. And Israel gets October 7th, and nobody wants to be friends with Israel, immediately after October 7th, because you're weak. But now that we've come back after October 7th, after a year and a half, we're smashing our enemies, destroying Hamas, practically, destroyed Hezbollah, and now hitting the head of the octopus, showing that might, having that line rise up. Then people are like, okay, this is the Israel that I can support. Do you agree with those statements?
This is how things work to the world stage. Nobody wants to side with weak nations.
Right.
People want to side with strong nations, militarily, economically, technologically, strong society, culture, and it all goes together. And Israel has all of it. Even during the war, our economy is one of the strongest economies in the world. Even during the war, imagine what will happen after the war. What economic boom Israel is going to have following the war. And the economy is even now very, very strong and very resilient.
That's right.
So we have a lot to look, forward. But first, let's win this war.
That's right. We have a lot to win, and we still have to protect our civilians. And we've had 10 civilians killed through these attacks, so it's not without cost. It's a tremendous cost. It's important to know that it's important to not underestimate our enemy or take it for granted, or lay down our defenses. Quite the opposite. Our strength should be followed by more strength, and hit them again. Hit them until they're done. All right, last question, Brigadier General Amir Avivi. You and I are here in the United States. I'm sure that you planned this trip, but I'm sure you're itching to get home right now. Israeli airspace is closed. There's constantly talk about rescue flights or boats from Cyprus or different ways. There are people, I just saw a video of people coming in from Sharm el-Sheikh, although that's not recommended. There's some people coming in through Jordan, although that's not recommended. What's your pathway to the Holy Land?
Yeah, so I arrived to the States a week ago on Sunday and had a very busy trip in Detroit and Toronto and back to New York. Spent the weekend, in Woodmere. I was supposed to fly Saturday night, and of course it got canceled. So, I took the opportunity to really go a lot to national TV. I interviewed here in the States, in Newsmax, in other stations, and having multiple meetings and lectures. So I'm very busy. But, waiting to go back home. I miss my kids and my wife. So I signed to, the list of El Al. They send some lists you sign to, and waiting to get the mail that says that, can board the plane and go back home.
B'ezrat Hashem, with the help of God, we'll get back home and we'll go to fight and to celebrate and to see a stronger Israel. Brigadier General Amir Avivi, your whole life is dedicated to making a stronger Israel through your organization, the IDSF, and we call it in Hebrew the Bitchonistim, which are officers in the IDF who are for a strong Israel and for nationalism and not for shrinking Israel and weakness. And you're getting that message out there. And certainly this attack is in line with the ideology that you're trying to spread. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Toda rabba, Brigadier General Amir Avivi. Awesome person to, and there's the website, idsf.org.il /EN if you want it in English. And he's doing great work here. And he was on all kinds of media, but he didn't say that he was also on the Yishai Fleisher TV channel. Come on. Let's hear the clapping. Let's hear the applause, people. Come on. Okay, we're broadcasting live from beautiful New York on the way to the Holy Land. And I want to remind people that you can connect to us by liking, subscribing, hitting that little bell, commenting, liking, subscribing, and also super chatting. You can super chat, and your super chats go to make our broadcasting stronger, better, and bring out the light of Israel better. Our enemies in many ways do it very well. And here's geometric necessity, writes the Lion of Judah, have shown their might. All nations will be reckoned. $100. Thank you very much. And Be'ezrat Hashem, with the help of God, we say, right? It's important to say that this amazing attack on Iran is also the gift of God. He has given us the strength. Here, I'm going to now let you into a very big secret. You can have a giant, awesome military. You can have a very successful strike. You can defeat your enemies and cause them to bow before you. You can do all those things. All you have to do at the end, though, is say, it is you, God, who gave us that strength. It is you, God. We recognize that you gave us the wisdom, the physical ability, the technology, the time that we live in. You gave us our minds. You gave us our hands. You give us the strength. You gave us the rebirth of the Jewish people to the land of Israel. And in the end, it's meant to honor you, God. It's meant to honor you, God. And here's another super chat from PC who writes, God bless Israel. Thank you very, very much. Be'ezrat Hashem, God bless Israel indeed. And we have to bless Israel. We have to bless and make Israel into a godly Israel. And we have to ingather as much as we can. We have to ingather our thoughts, ingather our prayers, ingather our bodies, connect to Israel, face Israel when we pray, face Jerusalem, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And it is indeed happening. My heart is in the land of Israel, but also my sweetheart is in the land of Israel, and that is Malka Fleisher. Malka, shalom.
Hey there, stranger.
Sorry.
Haven't seen you in a while. Who's that?
I know.
You're looking great. How are you? I'm fine.
I'm sorry. And, you know, Ari Abramowitz was like, do you think there's a danger that we're going to get locked out? And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. And there we are.
No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That would not happen.
I'm sorry. That is silly. But Malka, you are in the land of Israel in Judea. Thank you so much for joining us. I am in New York, on the way to the Holy Land. There's a war. I want to play a video of.
It's cute that you say you're on the way to the Holy Land. Because
too loud.
You're not yet on your way to the Holy Land.
Malka, you're a little too loud, says Yocheved.
Okay, how's that? Any better?
A little bit less. And what I meant by saying that I'm on the way to the Holy Land is in my heart I'm on the way to the Holy Land, and I think I have a pathway towards the land, and I'm going to try to take it. In the meantime, you're holding down the fort. Here's our kids from the porch watching the quote unquote fireworks of ballistic missiles over Israel being shot down by our missile defense. Let's see this.
Oh.
It exploded. Why aren't we having a siren?
I don't know. Whoa.
That exploded.
Guys, let's go inside.
No, we're not having a siren though.
Look at that guy. Look at him come.
Come on,
those are our guys, right?
Those are like Jerusalem. I didn't know we had them in Jerusalem.
Look at them go. Whoa!
Oh, look in the air. Oh, look.
Whoa!
Oh,
oh my gosh!
It's floating. Look. Oh my. I never.
Mom, come look. There's little firefights in our.
Woo!
What is
Oh,
that?
did you see that humongous explosion?
What the heck is going on? What are they fighting?
What?
Those are giant rockets
these are
heading
the
to
rockets?
strike and kill Israelis and Jews.
Why aren't we getting a
Whoa!
siren?
Do you see that? Because maybe it's not
It's
in a
over
flash.
Yerushalayim. Whoa, did you see it spray out like that?
Yeah.
Oh, look, they get busted up. Wow.
There have been more scary hits.
Whoa.
What was that? It was
Yishai,
the turret thing lit
Looks
up.
like shooting stars.
these rockets are legit. This is no, I mean, everyone's seen the news, I guess, with what has happened to our buildings. Once upon a time, we used to get hit with rockets from like Hamas. And
Right.
those rockets were like, oh no, get on the ground, cover your head. These rockets are not like that. Cover your head, get on the ground. That stuff is like worthless for these things. These are long range ballistic missiles. And I have to tell you, watching these things in the sky, and we did not watch them. I want the audience to know that I am not a delinquent mother that you should call social services on. We do not watch those when we have our own alert.
Okay.
The alert system is very sophisticated and very advanced, and it's able to tell people not exactly, but like what town. So we are not in Jerusalem, and those were rockets that were fired over Jerusalem. So we only stood outside to watch them when we were not, God forbid, going to be underneath them. But it is surreal. It's
Watch this,
unbelievable.
Maka. Watch this. This is
Oh,
the fire in
Malachaim.
Tel Aviv.
Yo.
Yeah.
yo. בואנה, יש
It's
אנשים
total
לכודים.
devastation.
וואו.
That's what happens when these missiles hit and they're not intercepted. It's really
Right.
something awful. It's really something
It's
really
really
awful.
something awful. You know,
Here's
yeah.
another one. I showed this before, but I want to show this to you again. Check this out. That's the same rockets, but like within Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv. Look at this. Look at this thing in the sky. Crazy. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this Makkah. Look at this beautiful city. Boom, boom, hit by awful rockets. And here's our interceptors flying out there. Absolutely intense stuff. Intense stuff and intense things that we are facing, Malka. So listen, I had on Amir Avivi beforehand. He's a brigadier general, and I asked him brigadier general stuff. Okay. I know that you're the general of our household, but still, I'm not asking you brigadier general stuff. I'm asking you about the feelings. Like how you holding up? How are the people holding up? How are the children holding up? How's the town holding up? How do you think Israel's holding up right now?
Okay, so I'll tell you what I think. First of all, I'll tell you that maneuvering and raising your kids through this isn't like a war with like slogans and flag waving and ideology. This is like a war with rockets raining down in where you live, right? So we're talking about like war zone. It's not just being in a war, but it's being in a war zone. Is challenging. You know, it's very challenging. Giving space on the one hand for your children's feelings, for your own feelings. That one's the hardest, actually. Giving space for your children's feelings, acknowledging that things can be scary, acknowledging that things can be uncertain. There's other factors too, Yishai. You know, thank God in Israel there is such an emphasis on defense of the civilian that there is like a significant civilian life, right? It's not like we're all just like huddled under our blankets in the safe rooms all day long. I went grocery shopping today, thanks to God and the IDF, right? I was able to do that because Hashem is making us successful in this war. There's no substitute for that. But, you know, there are some aspects of life that have been like hurt. For example, this is the end of the school year. Yishai, our oldest son, is graduating from grade school this year. He's finishing 8th grade. This week that we're in right now was supposed to be a week filled with games, end of year activities, movies, fun. You know, they've taken all their tests. All the like hard stuff is over. It was supposed to be fun this week. And it's all canceled. Our daughter is, she has like these very serious tests in high school. They're called bagruyot. They're like standardized testing. One of her bagruyot has not been done. It's being pushed into the summertime, which means that she's going to have to study in the summertime instead of having any kind of fun in the summertime. Although she will, but other students are going to have an even harder time. This same boy that is graduating from 8th grade is supposed to have a graduation ceremony. Is it happening? Are you going to be there? Question mark, right? And these things hurt. And you're trying to raise your kids through all that. And make them feel like life is good.
When is the graduation ceremony?
The graduation is on Sunday. It's supposed to be on Sunday, assuming that they even allow them. I have no idea. Right. And the teachers are, of course, aware that you know, there are some parents or siblings or whatever who are stuck in foreign countries and can't get in, and they're trying to make decisions and weigh the pluses and the minuses and everything. And I was supposed to go to a wedding tonight. I didn't go. I have no idea what the situation is with this wedding. I don't know if they were able to even carry out. I'm sure they got married or are getting married with God's help, because you're allowed to wed. But are you allowed to like have a big party with your, you know, anywhere from 100 to like 500 guests?
Right.
I don't think so. Right. So then what happens? huge monies that have been paid out. Is there insurance for that? I don't think so. I think you just lose your money. It's like, anyway, so these are some of the things of real life. Plus, we've all been through COVID, right? Which was staying in the house all the time and trying to find things to do indoors. Luckily, the Home Front Command has established a very intelligent warning system where they give you multiple warnings. So they'll give you, because these are rockets, these are missiles which are coming from so far away, they can afford to like give you a lot of notice, right? So they'll give you notice like 10, 20 minutes ahead. And they're like, be ready, because we might send you a notification that you're going to have to go to a shelter. So be ready. So I've seen so many instances, for example, in which I see people walking down the street and I get one of these alerts on my phone and I'm like, hey, I want you to know I got this alert on my phone. And they'll be like, yes, we know that we are walking home because we got the alert on our home. It gives you a chance. How many times has one of the kids been in the shower or something like that in the bathroom, and you get one of these alerts and you can like, quickly finish a shower, put on some clothes. It's nice, right? It's really helpful. Then sometimes you get the siren, and sometimes you don't. The IDF has been very successful, Baruch Hashem, in shooting down rockets before they arrive, and shooting down missile launching pads before they are able to fire and things like that. So sometimes we get the early warning, but not the actual siren.
I understand.
But I want to say,
I understand the issues of defense. I'm also asking the issues of the general feeling.
Right. So I want to continue with what I was saying, and say that I was sort of wondering what would happen on the street in the aftermath of the missile landings we had in Bat Yam, in Bnei Brak, in Tel Aviv. Where else do we have? Petach Tikva in Haifa. Okay. And you saw what these things do. They are cataclysmic, right? And I was waiting to hear the Israeli public go, stop, right? No more, abort. We don't want to do this, right? Because these are, we live in an area like nice, quiet Judea, right? It's so ironic because Judea was always puffed up as the place which is the most dangerous, the most violent. But over the course of the war in Gaza, and over the course of this war, what we have going on here with Iran, Judea has been amongst the quietest places in the country. I can't imagine what it must be like if you live in a place like Tel Aviv or Petach Tikva or Haifa, and these sirens go off. And you know that the rockets are coming toward you. It must be truly terrifying seeing, what the destruction really is. But I have not, Yishai, I have not heard, not anywhere have I heard anyone, and maybe I don't have my ear to the ground enough, but I have not heard anyone say anything negative about the fact that we are engaged in this battle. Everyone seems to feel that it is justified, even if it's scary. Justified doesn't mean feeling not scared, right? People can totally feel scared and deeply want to not be hurt, or have their property hurt, or have their friend or family hurt, or to have their life interrupted. At the same time, people seem shocked and awed by what's happening here. Yishai, you and I have lived, just our life in Israel has seen such a radical shift in the way that Israel does things. And it's so unbelievably orchestrated how this happened, from fighting Hamas, which was like the little close war, even though it started so abruptly and so horrifically with the attack on October 7th. Starting with this enemy that we felt we could kind of deal with, and then moving forward and seeing that we actually can deal with it. And then Hezbollah, which was everyone for years was talking about, 200,000 rockets aimed at us, 200,000 rockets. It would be this mantra, 200,000 rockets are aimed at us, right? And then we blew the absolute crud out of Hezbollah and out of Nasrallah personally, who was this mythical demon to our north.
Right.
And we totally just offed him. unceremoniously.
Right.
And I remember we were in shul. It was on Shabbat. And we found out that Nasrallah had been killed. And I was in shul jumping up and down, literally, with the joy, because this person was like such an evil entity in our imagination for so long. And then after Lebanon, Iran was like, it was this enemy that was like our mortal enemy. You know, it was like our antithesis. And it was living out there in Iran. And it was this like untouchable evil thing with the nuclear power. And we're slicing and dicing it. And it's like unbelievable to see, not just that we are like with absolute divine intervention defeating our enemies, but that Israel has metamorphized from a country that thinks it can't to a country that knows it can. And that confidence that has been built in the country Israel, in the government of Israel, for sure is like all flowing through the streets of Israel.
Mhm.
And there is a sense that not that we are invincible and not being puffed up. I think there is actually a great understanding that God has been with us and a certain humility that comes with the pride. But nonetheless, like a tremendous inner joy
Yeah,
at the fact that we are
wants you to be
finally
strong.
dealing with this.
God wants you to
What
be
was
strong.
that?
God wants us to be strong. He just wants us
Right.
to credit him. He just wants us to recognize that he gives us
Right, to
strength.
see him basically. Right.
Malka,
And we see him.
how's my haircut?
It's cute.
Yeah,
Looking
yeah.
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I did a video while getting this haircut today in
I saw.
Brooklyn, New York. Here it is.
Oh, Yishai Fleisher, I'm getting a haircut in Brooklyn. Why am I getting a haircut? Because my hair is long, but also because I'm on the way to the land of Israel soon. And when I get to the land of Israel, we're going to be celebrating because we're getting rid of the evil from our region that has held all of us hostage. We've all been hostages, not just the hostages in Gaza. The whole land of Israel, the whole state of Israel has been hostage to haters, neo-Nazis, jihadists who hate Israel and want to destroy it. Well, now they're getting theirs. And Israel's not destroying Iran. It's destroying that regime and hopefully going to fulfill its role as liberation nation. You know, the flag of Israel, if you look at it, it's a Star of David between two blue lines. Those blue lines represent the splitting of the Red Sea. I made this up, and I like it. Splitting of the Red Sea. And the Star of David is the Jewish people walking through it from slavery to liberation. And that's exactly what's happening right now in Iran. We're liberating that country from that awful jihadist regime. We're liberating the whole region from jihadism. And that's why I'm getting a haircut to welcome the new reality, the blessed reality of a strong Israel, of an Abraham Accords, of a Mashiach, of a third temple, of a period of strength, of a period that Israel pushes back on jihadism and let freedom ring. God bless you guys from Brooklyn on the way to the land of Israel. And shalom.
All right. That was
Cute.
fun.
You know, Yishai, I wanna say something. I was watching your Amir Avivi interview.
Yeah.
And you were talking about whether the freeing of the Iranian people should be a goal,
Mm-hmm.
or not a goal. Maybe it's just a byproduct. In Malka, Brigadier General Malka Fleischer's opinion, it has to be a goal.
Right.
To me, it has to be a goal for a couple of reasons. One, because it's the right thing to do, and Jews should do the right thing. Two is because historically, you know what it reminds me of a little bit? It reminds me of when Abraham goes to get Lot, and there's all those like prisoners of war. Abraham was supposed to free all the prisoners of war, get them out from that horrible culture. And as I recall in the story, he did not. He took Lot and his family. Am I correct? Do I have it right?
No, he pushed back those kings and he liberated those people.
I think that liberating the people of Iran is part of our Abrahamic job.
That's right.
The Islamic regime of Iran is bad.
Well,
It's bad for the world. It's bad for those people. And I think that we are picking off these horrible, evil regimes one at a time. We can't leave one standing. We can't leave this one standing.
Here's Musab Hassan Yusuf on exactly what you're saying.
My eyes are on Tehran, the head of the snake. As long as Ayatollah, the one who sent thousands of Iranian children to sweep minefields as a strategy, the same one who has sacrificed Gaza, Lebanon, Yemen, and he's willing to sacrifice the entire world for his political ambition as long as he's still alive, we are going to have a problem in the Middle East.
So that was there you go, right there. That's just that clear.
Yep.
And speaking of haircuts, here's of course the man with the most famous haircut in the world, Boris Johnson.
Everybody knows that when the Israelis try to retard the Iranian nuclear weapon program, the Israelis are doing the world a huge service. So why doesn't the British government just come out and say what they believe and what everybody knows? Why don't they support what Israel has done? I'll tell you why, because it's all about managing the growing anti-Israeli feeling in the Labour Party, the growing anti-Semitism, I'm afraid, in Labour rank and file, and it's nothing to do with the national interest.
Whoa, very strong words about anti-Semitism creeping into the UK and how that's affecting their language vis-a-vis this important war. And he says it so, just the way they do, so quickly, so clearly, the British. He's like, Israel's doing the world a favor. This nuclear Iran is a global bully. It's a global bully, and Israel's defeating that global bully right now. There's nothing more important than that.
Israel, the thing is about us is that we are starting to develop a reputation as a country which is strong, it's united. We are the stiff-necked people from the Bible in the good ways and the bad ways.
That's right.
But also the good ways, right? We are tough as nails and we'll stay strong. And we are are just so darn scrappy, right? We are not going like the whole world. What did Boris Johnson essentially say? That Israel's doing the world a favor. What does that mean? That the whole world knows what the right thing to do is, and that they have known what the right thing is to do. And they don't have the guts to do it. But the little Jewish people that you need a magnifying glass to find them on the map, swoosh, 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 they're swooshing around with their planes. And all of a sudden, the map of the world looks different. And it's like it puts the world back on its heels. And they're like, look at these people. They're really something. And I want us to do that favor for the world. And I'm proud of us for doing that favor of the world. And I hope we do not stop until it's done.
Amen. Amen, Malka. And you are holding up the fort over there in the land of Israel. I want to really thank you so much for fighting so hard right now to make sure that we're safe. There was one more video that I wanted to play for you. Just 1 second. Let's see if I could get it going. I didn't prepare it, but you reminded me of the video that I wanted to play for you. Did you see that video of the Archie Bunker video
Yes.
that went around? I don't think I have it prepared, but no, I don't have it ready. But it was great, And he says that just that. It's like, don't mess with the Jews. Don't mess
Right.
with the Jews.
We're getting a flavor of the reputation that Israel developed for itself during the 6-day war, except this one is global. That one was national. That's when we took back our holy city, Jerusalem, and the whole world was like, wait a second, God, it really does have a covenant with those people. We should reevaluate how we look at these people. Maybe they're not like hook-nosed bankers, but in fact, they are like Maccabees.
We're
And
bankers
now,
sometimes though shouldn't be.
well, I mean, we
embarrassed
could be bankers, but
that's right.
our noses, we have a variety of noses too,
That's
truthfully.
right. That's right.
But now this one is like worldwide. It's like we are liberating the Middle East.
That's right.
And now we're taking on a different role, which is light unto the nations,
That's
in
right.
which we help the world be the best world that it can be.
We're the light unto the nation's nation. Okay? And we're the liberation nation, and it's all because Hashem really wants it. And I got to say, Prime Minister Netanyahu was letting me down and frustrating me. And finally it happened, and here it is.
It wasn't, though. That's another thing. That we could have a whole show on this, Yishai. I don't know if you want to have me on for the next 75 minutes. But the fact that Prime Minister Netanyahu has, in fact, not been letting you down this whole time, but been preparing this insanely awesome, multi-pronged, like out of a movie, except better mission to like be incredible and win a war that shouldn't be winnable in a really fast way makes me have to rethink how I looked at Benjamin Netanyahu. I at least, like, I don't know, I haven't fully grasped the situation. I literally still run with the children to the bomb shelter at 3:00 in the morning every night so far. So I haven't had the time or the REM cycles necessary to think about this all the way through. But I have to say out loud that there has been some misjudgment of Benjamin Netanyahu on my part and probably on some other people's part.
Well, I don't know if it's misjudgment, but let's say he just heard your critique and he recognized that it was time to do it. I don't know what the answer is.
Right. I mean, but it was like they say it took like over a decade.
Right.
They say it took over a decade to prepare this mission.
Right. And there you go. And it's happening now. And Baruch Hashem, and as we spoke with Amir Avivi, we've also gone through the taking care of Hamas, mostly taking care of Hezbollah, now taking care of Iran, and we're waking up to a new day. And it happens to be that one of the opinions in the Bible of when the ark landed on Mount Ararat was the 17th of Sivan, which is the day that this attack began.
Wow.
And this young Rabbi Wolf in Stamford, Connecticut, said to me that it could be that just as the original flood began to recede on the 17th of Sivan, so too the Al-Aqsa flood began to recede on the 17th of Sivan, and it begins this process of cleaning out the world from this, this flood of sewage that has infested the world and is now being receding, is being subdued, is being squashed down, is being cleaned up, being sponged out, as we say in Israel.
Yeah.
And Baruch Hashem. Malka Fleisher, I want to thank you so much for being with us. And I miss you very much. And I hope to get home soon, Bezrat Hashem.
Are you going to bring my Amazon orders, though? That's what I want.
I'm working on it, but like if I'm taking a certain route, then I'm probably going to have to go with less luggage and may have to.
Oh, darn you, Iran!
Yeah, I'm not sure the avocado oil is coming, but I'm not sure. But some good stuff.
Oh, that's a loss. All right.
Maybe at the end of this war, Amazon will come to Israel.
Yes, amen.
Wouldn't that be the answer against jihadism? Third temple, national border secure, Jewish people prospering and promulgating, and Amazon coming right to our door.
Amazon Prime.
Isn't that just the basic right of all humanity? I think. All right, Malka Fleisher, God bless you, and thank you so much for being with us.
I hope we see you soon. Good luck out there.
Bezrat Hashem, Bezrat Hashem. God bless you, Malka. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. All right, folks, you are listening to Yishai Fleisher on Yishai Fleisher TV and our various outlets. And I want to remind you to like, subscribe, comment, and super chat, which is the way to communicate here and to bless us. And we need your blessings because we got to keep broadcasting truth. There's so many lies out there. And I want to also mention to you that there's other ways to support us. One of the ways to support us is by checking out YishaiFleisher.com. That's certainly an important thing. And also you can email me at Yishai@YishaiFleisher.com. You can just email me right there, Yishai@YishaiFleisher.com. And the reason that that's important is that you can comment to me there on a longer type comment. But also, if you're interested in having me come to your community, speak with your congregation or community, I'd be interested in doing so. Please reach out to me, YishaiFleisher.com. Of course, time is limited and I'm oftentimes booked, but I would love to connect with you guys. That's one great way. Another great way is by subscribing, liking, commenting at Yishai Fleisher TV, and of course, support for our many projects at fightforisrael.org. Okay, I think that it's time now for us to hear from the man of the hour, the man who God has channeled his strength and blessings through, and that's Prime Minister Netanyahu. He appeared on Fox, on Brett Baer, and I think it's important for us to hear some of the things that Prime Minister Netanyahu said on that program and how he understands the situation. Let's take a look at Prime Minister Netanyahu on Fox.
Israelis are going after military and nuclear sites. The Iranians are firing ballistic missiles toward Israeli civilians. Brett.
Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Trey, thank you. Joining us now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome back to Special Report.
Thank you. Good to be with you, Brett.
First of all, let me start at the beginning. Why did you launch this operation now?
Because we were facing an imminent threat, a dual existential threat. One, the threat of Iran rushing to weaponize their enriched uranium to make atomic bombs with a specific and declared intent to destroy us. Second, a rush to increase their ballistic missile arsenal into the capacity that they would have 3,600 weapons a year, new weapons within 3 years, 10,000 ballistic missiles, each one weighing a ton.
I mean, and just to be fair, Prime Minister Netanyahu is now talking about making sure that somebody doesn't build up an evil arsenal against us. That is what happened in Gaza. And that is what happened in Syria and Lebanon. And so we had these enemies, and it didn't work out well for us when we had all these enemies with their arsenal. We're able to defeat them, thank God. But the bottom line is you don't want a stockpiling of weapons against you. You want to nip it in the bud, and that's what's happening in Iran right now.
Coming in at Mach 6, right into our cities, as you saw today. And then in 6 years, 20,000. That's no country can sustain that, and certainly not a country the size of Israel. So we had to act. It was the 12th hour. We did act to save ourselves, but also, I think, to not only protect ourselves, but protect the world from this incendiary regime. We can't have the world's most dangerous regime have the world's most dangerous weapons. We're protecting ourselves.
I think that's a good line that everybody should know. Like the most dangerous regime having the most dangerous weapons, you just don't want that combination. And again, Prime Minister Netanyahu underlining and highlighting the idea that that fighting Iran is good for the globe, not just good for Israel. It's not just about anti-Semitism. It's about the danger of jihadism and certainly a nuclear-powered jihadism.
But by doing so, we're protecting many others.
You know, I just want to press you on the intel on the nuclear part. Less than 2 months ago, the new director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified on Capitol Hill, saying that everything had been suspended since 2003 and had not restarted, that the nuclear program had not been restarted by the Iranians. So did something change from end of March until this week? Was the U.S. intel wrong?
The intel we got and we shared with the United States was absolutely clear. Was absolutely clear that they were working in a secret plan to weaponize the uranium. They were marching very quickly. They would achieve a test device and possibly an initial device within months and certainly less than a year. That was the intel we shared with the United States. I think we have excellent intel in Iran. I think we've proven that. And that is something that we couldn't possibly accept. Whether it would be 6 months or 12 months or 13 months is immaterial. Once they go that route, it's too late. And we will not have a second Holocaust, a nuclear Holocaust. We already had one in the previous century. The Jewish state is not going to have the Holocaust meted on the Jewish people. It's not going to happen. Never again is now, and we had to act now.
Bezrat Hashem, with the help of God. And it's important to also understand that in many ways, this attack on Iran, I put it up on YouTube as a post. I called it Netanyahu's revenge. This is like his personal battle. This has been his big issue. I wouldn't be surprised after this war that he would retire. I would not be surprised because this was the big one. This is what he's been talking about for 25 years. I literally heard him speaking about this 25 years ago. And today is the day where that long Cold War and long war of planning by the Iranians to attain a nuclear device and by the Israelis, according to reports, it's taken 10 years to prepare for this moment. And so this has been long in the making, and this has been where Prime Minister Netanyahu's head has been at. He's been through trials and a million other things and surgeries and personal tragedies, and yet this whole time focus on stopping Iran from attaining a nuclear weapon. You know, I'm tired of watching this video alone. I want to watch it with a friend, and I have my good buddy Jake Bennett, who's the international defender of the Jewish people. Jake, welcome to the program.
Hey, Yishai, glad to be with you.
All right. And we were together in Washington, and we were lobbying for a stronger Israel and for more biblical Israel. Let's see if we can watch a little bit more together. You have any comments up till now about what you're watching?
No, let's keep going. I'll add in
All right.
some comments as
All
well.
right, let's do it.
What is the goal of these strikes? You talked early in one of your speeches after the attacks began with a message directly to the Iranian people. Clearly, some of these strikes have targeted Iranian leadership, military, nuclear scientists, and other leaders. So is regime change part of the effort here?
Could certainly be the result because the Iran regime is very weak. I think it's basically left with two things. It's plans to have atomic bombs and ballistic missiles. That's basically what Iran has. They certainly don't have the people. 80% of the people would throw these theological thugs out. I mean, they murder them. They oppress them for 46 years. They've yearned for freedom. I mean, they shoot women because their hair is uncovered. They shoot students. They just suck the oxygen from this brave and gifted people, the Iranian people. And you know, the Persian people and the Jewish people have had an ancient friendship, goes back to the times of Cyrus the Great. That could happen again. But again, the decision to act, to rise up at this time is the decision of the Iranian people. We decided to act because we saw enough uranium, enriched uranium, for 9 bombs. And all they had to do was weaponize them.
All right, so Prime Minister Netanyahu, they're talking about the Iranian people, that it's their choice now. They've got to act right now. We're not going to do regime change. It's got to be something that you guys do. We've created the atmosphere. We've created the opportunity, but it's up to you to do it. What do you think, Jake?
I think we've seen a number of videos come out over the weekend of Iranians in Tehran and other places in Iran burning down billboards with pictures of the Ayatollah. There's been years of people protesting in the streets and being cut down and mowed down by this oppressive regime. Polling indicates that the people want something different, but they're held in place by a police state. But what have we seen in countries like Syria and Lebanon when Hezbollah got decimated by Israel? The people rose up and the oppressors ran away. So just like Assad ran away from Syria and a new leader rose up, and we'll see how he's going to be. I expect the same thing could happen in Iran. There just needs to be enough of a weakening of the police state, and the people will take over.
All right, let's keep going. Very good.
We stopped that by we're attacking their nuclear sites. We attacked their chief nuclear scientists working. It's like Hitler's nuclear scientists. Would you leave them? Of course not. We attacked their top command. I can inform you, Brett, that moments ago, we also got the chief intelligence officer and his deputy in Tehran, because we're now over the skies of Tehran. Our pilots, our brave pilots, are over the skies of Tehran, and we're targeting military sites, nuclear sites. That's what we're doing to take out those two threats. Unlike the Iranians, who your reporter said correctly, they're targeting our civilians.
Yeah.
Well, you see that one of the parts of this campaign is to get public sympathy internationally and in Iran towards Israel. That's not so hard in Iran. There's a lot of people in Iran who like a strong Israel, who like to see them undermining that regime, no doubt about it. But he's very careful. He's treading very carefully on making sure that not a lot of Iranian civilians. What is it called? The casualties,
collateral damage.
Collateral damage. That's right. There's not a lot of collateral damage.
Casualties.
I don't hear you with enough volume. Can I get more volume from you, sir?
What if I'm a little closer? Is that better? Or I need to?
It's a little bit better. I'd like to hear you. Let's watch Dr. Sheila Nazarian talking about not negotiating with the Iranian regime.
Friends whose mother lives in Iran, she called them and said, "Tell Mr. Trump we're ready for his bombs. The people of Iran want to be set."
Hold on one second. There she is again. Let's put that once again.
One of my friends whose mother lives in Iran, she called him and said, "Tell Mr. Trump we're ready for his bombs. The people of Iran want to be set free." But I do want to comment a little bit about negotiations and having talks with Iran. Mm-hmm. Every person in the U.S. and elsewhere that is of Iranian descent understands that this government will shake your hand in diplomacy with their right hand and will be enriching uranium in secret with their left hand. This democratic, the Democrats thinking that the Iranians believe what we believe and think the way Americans believe is naive and it's narcissistic. The Iranians do not understand negotiation. They see it as a weakness. They love to talk, they love these delays, and meanwhile they're continuing to enrich uranium. The only language this Iranian regime understands is force. It is the only language they respect and they will listen to. And overwhelming power, like what Israel did tonight, is the only way to achieve peace in that region. So, and I want to say one more thing. Iran is not Iraq. The American people, look at Iraq and they say, we got rid of Saddam Hussein and somebody worse came in. Maybe the people of Iraq are not ready for democracy. The people of Iran are ready for democracy and they're hungry for it. And I hope that the weakening of this regime in Iran by what Israel has done tonight will allow them to rise up and take the beautiful country back.
Amazing words, amazing clarity.
She's a great spokesperson. And, a couple of observations. What she said is exactly right on. But what we're hearing from some people who claim to be anti-war people. By the way, can you hear me okay now?
I hear you okay.
You need it louder?
A tad louder, yeah.
A tad louder.
I think I suspect that you're not actually speaking through that mic right now. That's my suspicion, is that the mic is.
Think I am. Oh, wait a sec. Let's see.
I would. Yeah, let's see where.
Is that what's going on? That's what's going on.
Oh,
that's going on. Okay.
Now, oh my gosh.
Is that too loud now? Because I upped
No, it's fabulous. But my point is that did you see that? Did you see how like 30 years of broadcasting? I guess the problem, the mechanical problem. I love when I get technical. I just love it. I'm just so proud of myself. Yeah. Thank you, Asher.
All right.
Go ahead.
Now you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you like a man. Go ahead.
All right. Fantastic. I'll start over. The irony, the hypocrisy of the people who are out there who are saying that they're anti-war and that's why they're against Israel's strikes on Iran. It's so hypocritical because Iran is the warmonger. And if you're really anti-war, you've got to support Israel taking down this regime. And the people who say, oh, we want negotiations and that's the way to peace. No, you don't leave a warmonger regime whose stated goal is a jihadist conquest of the world and a global caliphate. You don't leave them in power. You treat this war not like Israel has done for the past so many decades. You treat it like World War II. Do you want to leave a Nazi regime with global conquest in power, or do you want to take it down? Take it down. Let the Iranians take over their country. Give them a hand. Their country got hijacked. This is very different from many other countries in the region. So that's my first point. Second point I want to say is the way that this war is being waged. Again, for all those, the comedian Dave, what's his face, who goes on Joe Rogan's show and says, "Oh, Israel's this horrible killer." Israel's striking military targets. Its enemy is striking civilian targets. The war crimes are clear. Any civilian casualties that happen on the Iranian side are the fault of the aggressor, Iran. Any civilian casualties that happen on Israel's side, again, are the fault of the aggressor, Iran. The war needs to be fought. The aggressor here needs to be cleared out.
Do you want to see a great clip of Iranian media, their like important media outlet, and what it looks like right now, and also to hear a voice which is against Israel? Let's take a look at a voice out of Iran after Israel airstrikes Iran's state broadcast building in Tehran. Check this out.
شادلو سردبیر گروه دفاعی خبرگزاری صدا و سیما در این چند سال در تمام عملیات‌های وعده صادق جلوه اقتدار ایران و شکست هیمنه رژیم صهیونیستی رو به تصویر کشیدیم. اینجا سازمان صدا و سیماست، مرکز فرماندهی جنگ رسانه ایران و مرکز به قدرت کشیدن تصویر اقتدار ایرانی و ایرانی جماعت و شکست هیمنه رژیم کودک کش صهیونیستی. من نمیدونم چند تا از همکارام داخل بودن. من طبقه اول بودم بمباران شد. نمیدونم چند تا از همکارام شهید شدن. نمیدونم چند نفر مجروح شدن. گفته بودن تخلیه کنیم منطقه اسرائیل، اما همه تا آخرین لحظه وایسن تا تصویر اقتدار ایران رو به جهان نشون بدن. چیزی که رژیم صهیونیستی نمیخواد. این ثمره نخواستنش. فکر کرده سازمان صدا و سیما رو بزنه چی میشه؟ بدترش رو میبینید.
So there we see the Central Broadcast Authority building being hit. You see one of the broadcasters. He, interestingly enough, in their mind, the word Zionist is like some kind of negative slur. Well, I just want you to know that for us, it's just not a negative slur. Like Zionist is a great word. The other thing I want to say, which is very important, is that there's just one thing that I feel in my heart when I see that broadcast building in flames and smoking. There's just one thing that comes into my heart, which is Al Jazeera. I'd like to see exactly that happening to Al Jazeera.
That was my reaction.
I want to see the same thing, just like, shh. Of course it's a military
That's a propaganda machine. It's a
Right.
military target. It has to come down. Al Jazeera should have been brought down on the first day of the war as well. This needs to be brought down. If we know where their propagandists are out there, they're military targets too. They're more powerful than the rank and file with a rifle. Speaking of which, you know, I saw yesterday's casualty statistics in Iran, and the number was I think it was 130 killed. And it's clear that Israel is going after infrastructure, nuclear infrastructure, military infrastructure, propaganda infrastructure. But if the Iranian people want to,
our producer,
I wanted to mention that the guy said that they were told to evacuate, but they thought that it was great that they should stay and show they were going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So they
That's
were
a
willing to
strategy.
get injured. Okay, it's willing to get injured for that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if we want to give the people a chance to take over, there might need to be some massive casualties on the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, and the secret police there. And if we know where their barracks are, and if we know where they're holed up, Israel should be taking out a lot of those guys too, because if they're left there, they come out in the streets with their guns and they'll mow down the people. The people have been disarmed by this regime. So you have to take out the army. You have to win this war. You got to stop playing.
No, but wait, but you're making a very important point. I just want to highlight and underline what you're saying, which is that these secret police type people, they are the suppressors of the people. And that's how they can keep this story going, that this is Iran, right? It's not Iran. You're just suppressing the average people with the force of guns, with the butt of a AK-47. That's the way you suppress the people. And I agree with you that liberation for those people comes from not just when Israel is defended, but when those people who suppress them. And I'll just give you one example. I like to shop at a certain store in Florida when I'm there. And there's like an Iranian, non-Jewish, real Iranian Persian person working there. And she just says to me, you don't understand what they do to our children over there. They take out the eyes of the protesters physically. They are just so brutal, and we have no chance against them. We need help. And then she helped me pick a great suit because she says to me, I know that what you do when you make Israel strong, you defend our people. So I want to make sure that you look nice. That really happened.
Yeah, I know that story. And there was a woman just this past year, I think it was sometime in this past year, who got so fed up with the hijab rule and she just wanted to be free that as a protest, she went to a train station without a hijab. And what happened to her was filmed. She was beaten by the religious police. This is not a place where there's freedom for women. It is bizarre, and I don't even know. It's so wrong-headed that there are people on the American left that are supporting this regime. It doesn't make any sense because they stand against every value that any truly liberal person holds dear. Freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of freedom of thought, freedom for women, freedom for anyone else.
Freedom, just freedom.
Freedom.
Speaking of freedom, we have a Druze friend named Mansour who's got a great YouTube channel, and he was in Tel Aviv, looking over Tel Aviv, and he had an important message for all of us. So let's take a look at a friend of Israel, Mansour, looking over Tel Aviv.
Something very interesting. The Iranian regime is trying to make it look like they've destroyed Israel. They're trying to make it look like they laid waste of Israel. And that there's a video going viral that is showing the Israeli airport of Ben Gurion completely destroyed with airplanes, burned down, I don't know what. Let me show you something. That's the airport right there, guys. It's not destroyed. It's good. I've just seen several airplanes coming in, big ones, cargo ones, coming into Israel. So the airport is still intact. It was not hit. They're trying to show you videos that the streets of Tel Aviv are completely destroyed. I mean, you can see there's cars driving. There's a bus over there. Here's some cars over there. People are still going. I mean, there's a gay parade that is in Tel Aviv. So there's a lot of guys with speedos right now running in the beach. Now, don't get me wrong. It's all thanks to the Israeli Defense Force, to the government of Israel, to the Air Force, to the Iron Dome, to the brave men and women in Israel that are risking their life to protect civilians in Israel. More than 90% of these missiles and rockets are being intercepted, not only by Israel, by the way, but many of them by the allies of Israel that are standing strong and helping Israel defeat the enemy of the regime of Iran. Now,
all right, so definitely you can see that Tel Aviv is still fine and dandy, alive and well, even though it's taken hits. Israel continues to thrive. And indeed, that is what you're going to see at the end of this war. You're going to see the destruction of the Iranian regime, but you're going to see that Israel is thriving through this. And we talked with Amir Avivi about Israel's economy doing very well after this onslaught, because people will see that Israeli arms are superior and Israeli training superior. And the other side of it is also the God of Israel, right? Like, people will be like, there is a God of Israel. He stands with the Jewish people. He does not let the jihad destroy them. And I actually want to show you my favorite video, Jake. This is my favorite video from the last few days. Okay, are you ready for this?
Go for it.
Okay, it's a little comedic, but this is my favorite video from the last few days. So the music that you hear, it's the cantillation of the scroll of Esther, and this is Khamenei, but he's wearing a hat that is the Haman ear pastry, which we eat on Passover to commemorate our victory over Haman. Okay, I'm giving a little explanation of what we're seeing here. So that was the reading of the 10 sons of Haman, which were hanged. Okay, and so instead of seeing the 10 sons of Haman, we saw the 10 big enemies of Israel that have been destroyed in the last in this conflict. Okay, so if you put that all together, it's a kind of Purim. It's a Purim victory over Iran type of atmosphere that's out there. What do you think, Jake?
I think it's great. We're a little early, but keep up the good spirit.
That's right.
The war's not over.
That's right.
And
no, you're right.
One comment about the war aims. After this war started, we should have heard the end of people calling for negotiations to an end of the nuclear program, because we're at the point where this regime is being weakened so much that they need to go. And you can't trust them in negotiations. They've been lying for the last 25 years through negotiations, lying over and over again. The proof has been found again and again and again by the IAEA, by the Mossad. It has been proven that while they say they're not pursuing nuclear weapons, they've been pursuing every single component of them, waiting to put it together at the end. They've been pursuing enrichment to weapons grade. This is not a domestic nuclear program. You don't need 60% enriched uranium for nuclear power. So enough with the calls for negotiation. Let's have from the government of Israel and from every supporter of true peace in the world, let's have clarity of speech calling for a war aim that is the end of this regime. When they surrender, when they turn themselves in, when it's like Emperor Hirohito at the end of World War II or the Nazi regime falling, that's what we're going for, not more lies and more time. One other thing is I keep seeing on social media and in articles and in the newspaper, people saying that Israel launched a preemptive strike, that Israel has initiated this war. Where's the clarity in that? Iran has been at war with Israel for decades. Iran has backed the attacks from the Houthis, from Hezbollah, from Hamas. Tens of thousands of rockets, many hundreds of Israelis killed, almost 2,000 Israelis killed just in the last 18 months.
Go ahead.
Did I lose? Okay, thought I lost you.
No.
Iran started this war. Iran started this war in 1979 when they were calling death to Israel and death to America, and they've been doing it. They've also killed, 240 something U.S. Marines in Lebanon through their proxy Hezbollah. All of their proxies that have been fighting, Iran has been leading this war. So for all those people who say, oh, Israel has broken some kind of a war crime by some preemptive strike and starting aggression, it's insane. That's all I got to say about that.
That's right. It's just, well, the difference is it's been a little bit of we've seen an escalation throughout. I remember when the first attack of the Iranian drones came in and rockets. So that was like the first time that Iran overtly attacked Israel. They were tired of
First
the
time
lack
they
of
directly
success.
attacked.
Right, directly. That's right.
But they were attacking through Hamas, and at
That's
the
right.
time I thought that was absurd too. That people would say, "Oh, well, you stop those. You can stop now." Iran's off. They're you can't hit them because they're hitting you through their proxies. That's a bizarre calculation. I mean, only someone who wants to get to a certain result does math in that way.
Let's watch a jihadi on Sami. What's his name? Sami Hand. Sami is anti-Israel. What's his name? Yo? Don't hear you.
It's Sami Hamdi. It's on a program called The Thinking Muslim.
Okay. So keep thinking. Let's hear why he thinks jihad's time is now.
So I suppose my first question to you is why now?
I think that if you were to put yourself in the position of the Zionists and of the Americans sitting in the White House, 1 year ago, Iran was in control of Syria. It was in control of Lebanon. In Syria via the Assad regime, and in Lebanon via its proxy Hezbollah. Today, Hezbollah has been significantly diminished in terms of its capabilities, and the Assad regime has been toppled. Iran's arm is no longer as long as it used to be, and it's no longer as strong as it used to be. From the Zionist perspective, Iran now has its back to the wall. Iran now is unprecedentedly weak. This is the time now to really hit home the point and try to diminish Iran's capabilities in order to prevent it from ever being able to establish such a reach again. And I think the Zionist argument has been beyond just Netanyahu's desire for war. The Zionist argument has been that given that we now have this window of opportunity in the region to reshape the region, to reshape its borders, to bomb whoever we want without any consequence from any of the Muslim leaders or the like, why don't we continue to bomb Iran's nuclear facilities? Why don't we continue to bomb Iran's airports and military capabilities and render it into a country that is unable to do anything? And I think from the Israeli perspective, given that the Iranians have been trying to develop, the Iranians say they're not trying to develop a nuclear weapon, but even if the Iranians were, on the basis that Israel should not be the only power allowed to have a nuclear weapon, given its antagonism towards the Iranians, the Israelis believe we have to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon, because if it has a nuclear weapon, then that compensates for Iran's inability to control Syria or Lebanon or any of these other reach. The Americans, however, are more hesitant, primarily because Israel doesn't have the power on its own to diminish Iran's capabilities. Israel is only able to attack a regional power with US support. Without US support, Israel does not survive in the region. Israel collapses within a few weeks. Israel is unable to stand against any of the regional powers.
So, what do you think about that, Jake? Like, that's one of the recurring kind of accusations against Israel, is that it's just a puppet state. It just survives at the whim of the United States. And he says within weeks, Israel would be gone, which is funny because we survived without America, as Amir Avivi pointed out, until the 6 Day War just fine. And we had other partners and other players. And today, you know, Israel's really become a clearly powerful country in the region. So I don't know where he's getting this, but that's part of the that's part of that. That is part of this is a Hamas doctrine of crusaderism, as though Israel is some kind of spear of the Christian West crusader impulse.
I think it's a flawed analysis. It's false. He's wrong. But this is a propaganda technique that is repeated by the anti-Israel sides, and we hear it a lot on the anti-Israel right. And the fact is, Israel is stronger than it's ever been. I mean, the one area where Israel was definitely weak prior to October 7th and has been strengthening itself, and I believe knows now that it needs to strengthen itself further, is in stockpiling and domestic production from top to bottom of what it needs. And we know that there's massive investment going into that, because you can't run out of artillery shells and tank shells and bullets, and you need to have enough rifle for every man, woman, or child that needs to shoot. Israel's getting there. But
you and I were in Washington, D.C., and we were actually at an event when this news started coming out. And then we went into like a park, and we sat outside and we like toasted L'chaim for the Jewish state. And then some kind of vagabondish type person walked past us with wearing a flag of Israel and blowing the shofar. It was really surreal. It was totally surreal. Do you feel safer today after Israel's attack on Iran? Do you think Israelis should feel safer? Do you think the world should feel safer? Or do you think that we should brace ourselves for retaliation, for World War III, and that whole kind of narrative?
No, the world is safer. I feel a relief has washed over me since Thursday, because we've been waiting for this genocidal regime, this jihadist regime to have its nukes. For 20 years, we've been hearing about it, and we heard of their degradation through this Stuxnet virus 15 years ago, and various assassinations of key engineers in their nuclear weaponization program. But it's been this looming threat. It's been this sword of Damocles hanging over not just Israel, but the world. And all of us should be sleeping better. All of us should be toasting l'chaims. And frankly, yes, I'm on WhatsApp with friends who are spending a lot of time in bomb shelters over the last 3 days. If I were there with them, I'd be singing with joy right now, because this is just the period that you have to get through to get to the other side. The world is safer. Absolutely. The world is safer when Iran's nukes are depleted. The world will be safer still when this jihadist and genocidal world conquest motivated regime is taken down, and it needs to come down. They've been pushing war in Iraq, in Syria, in Yemen, in Lebanon, all around. They've been pushing it all around and all around the world. They were responsible for the deaths of thousands of U.S. servicemen fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq as well. Mm-hmm. They used their war against Israel to develop their IED technology in southern Lebanon that they used against U.S. troops in Iraq. We know all this. The history's there. Do I feel better? Do I feel worried? No, I don't feel worried about World War III. I think everyone who could turn this into World War III is going to stay out of it. China's going to stay out of it. Russia's going to stay out of it, because right now Israel's on the march.
That's right.
And it's clear, and they want to stay out of the way.
Let's just take a quick peek at what's going on right now. IDF bombs Iran's state broadcaster after issuing major evacuation warning for Tehran.
Can I add a point on that title, on that
do.
headline, by the way? I think it is a mistake. It is a mistake that Israel keeps issuing evacuation warnings. You're at war. You're not just after the building. You're after the people who know how to put together the propaganda that is being used to weaponize you. It's like attacking a nuclear facility and telling the scientists to get out first. The scientists are your target. It's like attacking, in aircraft, in air base, and telling all the pilots to get out of there. Well, they'll get more planes and the pilots can get back to work. This is a war. And in war, you've got to degrade your enemy. You've got to take out the combatants. So I think that these evacuation warnings are a mistake strategically, and immoral in the sense that you are giving your enemy an advantage, and that's not what you're supposed to do in war.
Okay, I accept that. Notice the it says evacuation warnings for parts of Tehran. These are large areas that could have
for the civilians. For the civilians
There's
outside.
people who are secretaries in the building also.
There are people who are secretaries, but at the same time, those in general, like
war is hell, and
we can't enter into a war type of fighting situation where we're gonna check everybody. Like if you're part of that organization and you're dedicated to besmirching Israel, like first thing you can find a different job, but second thing is like
they're in a war zone.
Right, they're in a war zone.
They're with the enemies of Israel, and frankly, it's that look. Jews have heart. Israel has a lot of heart, and it doesn't want to hurt people, right? But it's that thinking that has led to 600 Israeli soldiers being killed in Gaza since October 7th, because we always want to save the secretaries, save Hamas's children, save Hamas's neighbors, but at what cost? And the cost will be your own soldiers. The cost will be your own sons and your own daughters.
Maybe, okay, but maybe Israel is a little bit like the Israeli kind of dragon has awoken, the lion has awoken. Maybe lion is a better, more apt. In any case, bottom left says IDF says a third of Iran's missile launchers destroyed. That's 2/3 too little. And we got still more work to do. Israel kills Iranian intel chiefs, strikes deep inside Iran, opens air corridor to Tehran. And Iran says parliament, preparing bill to leave nuclear non-proliferation treaty, as though they were in it beforehand.
Yeah.
It was just a show. At the same time, Israel has suffered 8 killed, nearly 300 injured, as Iranian ballistic missiles strike central Israel and Haifa. And here, this is very interesting, is Iran is said to be seeking ceasefire via Gulf states as Trump urges deal before it's too late. So the language of deal is still out there. The language of deal is definitely being bantied around right now. There's definitely still a discourse about deal, and yet, it doesn't look like there's any deal. It looks like there's a war. But Iran is trying to somehow slow down it's waiting for it's like a boxer waiting for that bell so that it could take a breather. And Iran can get back to strength and start firing again. We know exactly what they want to do. They don't want a deal. They just want a ceasefire so that they can get back to attacking Israel. So
I heard someone, or rather read an op-ed this morning that called this Bibi Netanyahu's Golda Meir moment, in the sense that when the Yom Kippur War was happening and Israel was attacked and Israel was hurt and Israel was pushing back, as soon as Israel started to make gains, there was political pressure for Israel to stop. And that's happened in all of Israel's wars from 1948 forward. But the Golda Meir moment was she delayed and delayed, and she withstood the pressure for days until Israel had enough gains that Egypt was asking for more than a ceasefire. They were asking for terms.
Well, let's also remember that Golda Meir had to clean up the great mess of the Yom Kippur surprise attack by Egypt, which was a great failure of intelligence, a great failure of Israeli defense. And so too was October 7th. Like right now,
the same story. Yeah.
Right.
Parallel.
Right now, we're talking about Netanyahu of last Thursday night, but there was also the Netanyahu government of October the 7th. And so this is a cleanup of a big mess.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all a cleanup because Israel has allowed the enemy to get so strong.
That's right.
And it needs to be clear that it's not going to allow that to happen again, because you don't need another October 7th. You need to have your buffer zones. You need to have a policy like, you had the Monroe Doctrine in America that, to the Europeans, don't set up here in the Western Hemisphere. This is our area. Israel needs to say, don't set up missiles within missile range of us, because this is our area and we're not going to tolerate it and we're not going to accept it.
That's right. It can't be in our borders or on our borders or able to reach our borders. Okay. We should have zero tolerance for jihadi capabilities and for jihadi impulses that endanger even one hair on one head of an Israeli. And that is what the Middle East understands and respects. That's the language that they respect. And I really hope that Israel uses this moment to go all the way, and not all the way just to defeat the Iranian regime, but also all the way towards respect. Be big, Israel. And in one of our talks that I gave while you were with me in Washington, I talked about bigness being a national security issue. Israel's got to want to be big, not small. It's got to want to control. It's got to want to control minorities living in its land. Yes, don't give that up. That's part of what every power does. That's normal. Unless they're, of course, jihadis or anti-Israel, you got to get rid of them. But Israel's got to accept this. This is a moment of bigness. This is a moment of bigness. And this is a moment of the recession of the Al-Aqsa flood and the beginning of the ascension of Israel as a power. And it has the military might. It has the backing of God and allies. But it's got to have the psychology that accepts being bigness, that accepts being big, and that bigness is a good thing, and that
This requires
bigness is healthy. Go ahead.
Yeah, requires a mental revolution in Israel.
Yeah.
For over 25 years, I've talked to Israelis, and I talked to people while I was in the army there during the Second Intifada about the education system within the Palestinian Authority. Ever since Oslo, Israel handed over to terror organizations, to the PLO, the education of the next generation. And when I would talk to Israelis, and I remember speaking to a couple of people in internal security in Israel, what about taking over the textbooks and putting in textbooks that aren't jihadists, that don't have maps of Israel as an occupier and Israelis as crusaders, and that need to be removed and cleansed from the land, and having clean textbooks that are about reading, writing, arithmetic, and
Oh, looks like Jake got frozen. He's a little bit frozen. I don't know what's happening to him. But in the meantime, I'm going to remove him. And Jake, if you come back, you are welcome to come back. But right now you are frozen. So let's see if he returns. But in any case, let's just get back to a little bit more from Prime Minister Netanyahu.
So that's the difference. They're a terrorist regime. We can't have Iran have nuclear weapons. And by the way, our intel shows that they intend to give these nuclear weapons to their Houthi proxies and others. And that's nuclear terrorism on a global scale. It threatens everyone. And the last thing is they have plans to develop intercontinental ballistic missiles. Right now, 8,000 kilometers, very soon, just out a little distance, and they can reach the eastern seaboard of the United States. These people who chant death to America, try to assassinate President Trump twice, killed 241 of your Marines in Beirut, killed and injured thousands of American soldiers in Afghanistan and Iraq, try to bomb a restaurant in Washington, D.C., chant death to America, burn the American flag. Do you want these people to have nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them to your cities? Of course not.
Yeah.
So we're defending ourselves, but we're also defending the world.
All right, so that's Prime Minister Netanyahu on Fox. And we're coming towards the end of our live broadcast. And I want to say that it's been a lot of fun to be with you. And it's, what can I say? It's a happy moment to see Israel's strength rise up, and I'm thankful for it. I was wrong about Prime Minister Netanyahu. I didn't think that he had it in him, but he's doing it. But I also really want to pray to the God of Israel for the safety of our soldiers, of our Mossad and other agents that are in Iran, our soldiers that are still in Gaza, still got to be strong there, our soldiers that are in South Lebanon, the soldiers that are patrolling in Judea and Samaria and the rest of Israel, the police force. I want to pray for them. I want to pray for the return of the hostages. I hope through force of arms and not, God forbid, through force of negotiation. I hope that they return quickly. And I want to thank God that he's given us this time of redemption and liberation, and that he's giving us the ability to take responsibility for that liberation and redemption. Redemption is something that you make happen. Geulah is not something somebody gives you. It's something that Jewish people make happen. But I guess what God does give us is that impulse, that instinct in that direction. And that's what's happening right now. Like, this is a great moment. Okay, seeing Israel destroy the Iranian hate regime is a great moment. You know, there's a new feature on my live stream here, which is I could see some of the comments. I'm not sure. I'm not sure this is such a great system. It's kind of small. But there's a lot of folks writing right now from all over the world. And that's really neat, because when we go live, we also allow people to chat from all over the world. And that's very, very special. And there's a great, discussion that's happening there. So please join that discussion. Yeah, definitely join that discussion. It's a very special opportunity. The other things that you could join is that you could join our various ways, because there's a lot going on. We want to take part in a lot of things, like the Biblical Highway, like tractors for farmers. We want to do a lot of stuff, beautification of holy sites, of biblical sites, of heritage sites. And a lot of that happens through our foundation, fightforisrael.org. And you can join us and help us continue to be a fighter for Israel. And please also like, comment, subscribe, and send a super chat through Yishai Fleisher TV, our flagship YouTube channel, and our other outlets as well. If it's Instagram, LinkedIn, X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, and all those, please join up with us. And the other thing is that there's one more, which is buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. And I just want to say, at this moment of the beginnings of victory, it's now time to actually push harder and to pray harder. So I want to ask everybody out there to really concentrate and dedicate 5 minutes of your day to praying for the strength of Israel and blessing God and asking that God's strength, as he's making come to light through the advent of the state of Israel, will permeate the whole world. And that permeation into the world is also about Torah, about biblical knowledge, about godly knowledge. And Israel is meant to be the spearhead, the forefront of that light, God's face that is coming to the world. We have a few minutes, not more than 10 minutes, for your comments. And if our awesome producer, Yo, could please put up a few comments, we're happy to read it. And this is a great chance also for you to do a super chat towards the end of the show here. And Gratefully Blessed says, don't mess with God's country. Well, there you go. That's exactly right. And Valerie says, Israel's doing great. Israel will win. Des Volt. I don't know what that means, but maybe victory. But certainly, Israel will win. But let us not pat ourselves on the back. We allowed the bad guys to get big. And also, it's God that gives us strength. Let's keep going. Texas Hill Country. Okay, David. Thanks very much. I'm not sure why we're putting that up, but okay. Oh, places from all over the world where people are blessing us, from Bat Yam in Indiana, USA. There are people from all over the world through this amazing technology, like the Netherlands. People are connecting with us. The Al-Aqsa flood is beginning to recede. That's exactly what's happening. The Al-Aqsa flood is beginning to recede, and we're in a time where we got to flood the world with strength and with light. I want to wish you guys all a lot of blessings. Oh, thank you very much for a super chat. One state, 30-year plan. Relocate them, the bad guys. Be a nation, be a light unto the nations. That's right. We're the light unto the nation's nation. That's part of our MO. That's part of what we do. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to be with you. And we have to keep fighting. IDF, keep fighting. IAF, keep fighting. People who learn Torah, keep the fighting, because there's a lot to do. Says Teenage Wasteland from the famous Who song, writes, Israel refuses to live under an existential threat. Neither should any freedom-loving democratic country in the Western world. Absolutely. Including not necessarily just democratic countries, or not necessarily just in the Western world. There are many countries that deserve liberty and freedom, like India and other places. We have to fight back on these dark forces. All right, folks. Oh yeah, that's right. There's one more thing. I want to ask you, can you please pray for me to get back home? Because once there was a way to get back home. Okay, and today there is no way to get back home yet. And it's time to get back home to my family, B'ezrat Hashem. And while I'm here, to also do things that are useful and important and helpful and give people spirit. That's what our channel is all about, to give people strength, to give people spirit. That is what we're all about. That's what we're trying to do here, is to give people energy, give people a chizuk, a strengthening, to continue to follow God and to love Israel and to fight the bad guys and to take up the process of the land of Israel. That is what we're all about. And of course, I want to mention the Jewish community of Hebron, where I work, and to help beautify and help normalize Hebron, the tomb of the forefathers and mothers, is there. Abraham and Sarah, Isaac, Rebecca, Jacob, and Leah. You got to come visit the beautiful Hebron, and you can already visit Hebron through hebronfund.org. Learn about Hebron, learn about the beautiful place of Hebron and its important historical significance. As we say, let our people grow. Let our people grow is what we're all about. So God bless you, folks, and don't forget to go big and go home, because that's what we're doing. We're both going big and going home. That's the time that we have. And with that, oh, there's another super sticker from Sandy Beach. God bless you. Thank you so much for your support and your blessing. And we send you back that blessing. You bless Israel, you get blessed back. That's just part of the contract. That's just part of the contract. I want to thank you very much. And I want to look up the news, make sure that everybody's still safe, and pray to the God of Israel, and be part of this great time. And if you're in New York, or if you're in Washington or Stamford, Connecticut, if you're anywhere around the world, you can love Israel. Just turn your heart to Jerusalem and be part of it. Be part of it. Tell God, I want to be part of it. I want to be part of your great plan. And you will see miracles in your life. And when you come to the land of Israel, you will get a little bit of prophecy. You will get a little bit of the amazing ability to communicate face to face with God. And you're going to get enlightenment and a sense of personal connection to the God of Israel. And what can we ask more than that, other than being part of his great plan? I want to thank my producer, Yo, for being part of it. I want to thank all the good folks around the world. And there are thousands of you that are with us on the program as we do this live stream. I want to bless you guys wherever you are. I'm sending a blessing right into your home, direct from the land of Israel through where I am right now, which is not in the land of Israel, but on the way to the land of Israel and right into your home. God bless you folks wherever you are. Lots of love and lots of blessings. And shalom. Shalom, everybody. That's right. Just say it. Shalom.